First of all,
This is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't
The
care.
BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now,
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. It is a sunny but a little chilly day here in Southern California. I'm still in Southern California, headed to Indianapolis later this week to see the Patriots play the New York Football Giants in Super Bowl 46, the rematch. Apparently these two teams played a couple years ago. I don't remember this. Cousin Sal, do you remember Super Bowl 42? I don't have any real memory of it.
I remember a lot of the game, and then a ball came down and hit me in the helmet and stuck to my helmet, and I got amnesia ever since then. So I don't know. I don't know the result. But
I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't remember either. I took some pills and I have no recollection of anything that happened in that game.
Yeah, you must be
So, yeah.
excited. Is it weird? The 2 weeks. The 2 weeks seems a little too long now.
I thought it really helped the Patriots because, well, for one thing, the Gronkowski high ankle sprain,
Absolutely.
gives him an extra week. Then you think of how the Giants, how well they were playing, and week 16 they beat the Jets, week 17 they beat the Cowboys, then they win 3 straight playoff games. They have all this momentum, and then a week off. And now where's the momentum?
Yeah,
they
were the hotter team, and now it's maybe taken away from them. I mean, I guess we'll see. But I still think 2 weeks, as far as the fan and hype goes, it seems a little long. Maybe 10 days. Maybe they have the Super Bowl on a Wednesday at 3 o'clock. I think it get huge ratings.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of trying to change things that people already like, but
Yeah.
it still hasn't been explained to me why they wouldn't go Sunday night, Monday night for the AFC and NFC championship.
Oh, interesting.
So at least it would get a little bit closer to that Sunday. And I also think Monday after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday, but that's another story. But
Absolutely.
if you had Sunday night, Monday night, and then you played on Sunday, I mean, it would still be 13 days, but it does feel like that those two games happened about a month ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And we laughed at like LSU, Alabama, and you think that there was like 50 days in between.
Right.
It's absurd, and this seems absurd too. But I'm sure it'll be a good game.
In terms of the 2 weeks, I will say it could have helped the Giants from the fact that they'd played all those tough games in a row. They go into overtime in San Fran. That San Fran defense was just all over the place, just killing Eli and nailing the receivers and all that stuff, and maybe the week off will help them. But I do think from a momentum standpoint it hurts. The line, what did it start at 3.5?
Started 3.5.
It's been 3 all week. It teetered to the point where it seemed like it was going to go to 2.5, and then it stabilized basically at 3. Although you have to lay a little more wood on the Giants. Do we see that dropping?
Yeah, it was 3 minus 125 for a bunch of days, for like 4 or 5 days, and so it looked as if they were going to tilt that to 2.5. But now there's some Pats money coming in, and I don't know what that means. I mean, anyone I talk to seems to like the Giants. Isn't that you get the same feeling?
Yeah, I haven't heard that many. I haven't even really heard a compelling Patriot case yet. My friend Will had the best one that I've heard so far, which is that the Patriots rarely play 2 bad games in a row. And Brady never plays 2 bad games in a row.
Right.
So if you're going off that, maybe you'd say, they're due to just play better. They did at Baltimore. Maybe they escaped again.
I think
they probably should have lost.
If you're back in the Patriots, you're really banking on Belichick to figure something out the way he's done so many times before, and Brady to step it up the way he's done so many times before. Because on paper, it does seem like to me it seems like the Patriots have 3 or 4 playmakers, and the Giants have 10 or 12. On both sides of the ball. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or I mean, anything?
I agree.
It's one game, and it's on turf and everything else, but just from that standpoint, I give the Giants an edge.
I totally agree, and I think the Gronkowski thing you always have that one injury in Super Bowl week, and everybody's got to talk about how important it is or whether we're overrating how important it is, all that stuff. Like, trust me, I watched the Patriots all year. The whole team hinged on those two tight ends, and they're a different team when Hernandez and Gronkowski are out there and healthy and running around versus when one of them's limping around or whatever. And if he's not 100%, I think that really damages their chances personally.
Yeah. But I also think, like, a big thing, and this is one of the things Belichick's going to have to figure out, I think, is, and you said a couple of weeks ago, you have Julian Edelman is going to be covering now a pretty good receiver, a top 15 receiver in the league, I think, whether it's Cruz Manningham or Nix, like they're going to be, that might be a little bit of trouble for them.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Look, every Patriot fan has looked at this and tried to figure out, all right, how are we going to cover all three of these guys? You figure Manningham is going to be the guy that I would say Edelman would probably be covering, and that's not good because Manningham is just good enough that he should be able to get open most of the time.
Right.
I thought Lawrence Taylor made some pretty insightful points during his bizarre Inside the NFL appearance.
That was great. That was my favorite Inside the NFL in years, I think. But you're right. The contrast between the first segment and the last segment.
Yeah.
First segment when he's barely apologizing for the underage prostitute.
Nah, it's defiant.
And then, like, the best part is Collinsworth's like, what makes you think you're a changed man? He's like, did I say I was a changed man? You're going to read about me in like 3 months. What are you talking about? And then
Collinsworth, he was trying to put words in his mouth, like, I'm sure you've been apologizing to your wife every day. And Taylor's like, you can see his brain going, actually, I don't think I've apologized yet. Maybe I should do that. That's not a bad idea. It was horrible. It was really, it was one of the most disturbing things I've ever witnessed. And then Taylor ended up making some lucid football points, including the fact that he thought the Giants, the front four, played defense just like the teams that he played with in the 80s and 90s. And for him to say that, because the old guys never want to give the new guys credit ever. Mm-hmm. And for him to praise the front four of the Giants like that, I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah. He also said he's watched about 8 minutes of football because he golfs about 23 and a half hours a day. So.
Right. I forgot about that part. Yeah.
But
where are you leaning?
What's that?
Where are you leaning for a pick? Are you going to just go the obvious route and take the Giants?
I'm leaning toward it. I don't want to take them. I mean, for obvious reasons. I don't want to root for them. I don't want to pick them. But I don't. What do you think Gronkowski is? I mean, it's big. If he's 80%, and the Giants have two linebackers back there in coverage anyway because they never have to blitz. That might be a pretty good neutralizer. So, but what do you think? I mean, they never tell you anything, the Patriots. So
no, they never tell me anything. But here's where I'm leaning. If you have somebody who has an injury that seems debilitating but recoverable, you want that the person to be injured to be something of a physical freak and/or just a lunatic.
Yeah.
And I think. The precedent for this is Terrell Owens, who broke his leg and somehow played in the Super Bowl. What was it, like 5 weeks later?
Yeah.
4 weeks later, everybody's like, there's no way he can play. He's got a broken leg. And he was, the most dominant Eagle on the field that day.
He was so fast. I couldn't believe how fast he was that game.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
And the reason it happened was because he's Terrell Owens, and he's a lunatic, and he just had convinced himself that he wasn't going to be in pain, and he wasn't. And Gronkowski is also a lunatic. He's a nut.
Yeah.
He's a crazy person, and if anybody could just shake off a high ankle sprain and go out there and be a freak, it's him. He's the biggest freak in the league right now.
Now, Ocho Cinco's a crazy person too. Does that mean he'll get a reception?
Ocho Cinco, he bought everybody Dr. Dre Beats.
He
bought
did?
the Patriots. Yeah, he bought 70 Dr. Dre Beats for the ride to Indianapolis.
I'm leaning towards the Pats then. All right.
I think it was a smart move because he was on the fence for getting a Super Bowl ring if they won.
Yeah.
And now when they're doing the shares, everybody will be like, he did give me those Dr. Dre Beats. And then maybe they'll give him one. But, they actually needed him in that Baltimore game. Maybe he catches that Matthew Slater pass.
Oh, if had he been back there, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Ocho can run a straight line and catch a football still, I think. Maybe.
It's true. I did say that's what they should use him as, a decoy, but I wouldn't recommend throwing it his way. But yeah, he should be running fly routes the whole time.
Yeah. All right, let's do some props.
Yeah, luckily we don't have to pick a winner because we have a vast menu here of Super Bowl propositions. I really feel like I've been reading this for 12 hours, like any chance I get. And the waiter comes to me, and I'm not ready. I say, go take the table of the hipsters over there. They know what they want. But I guess it's time to talk props.
And we should mention that all year on Greatland.com on Thursdays you have been releasing your favorite football props and then sprinkling in a couple made-up ones, and that has become a popular feature of our sports blog, The Triangle. And now
Thank you, and yes, I'll have a big column, probably 1,500 words or so this Thursday. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been practicing all year with these, so this should be a cinch.
Yeah. So let's do it.
All right. So how do you want to do this? We'll just go over what I like and what you like, or?
Yeah, just start rattling them off.
All right. Here's one that's interesting to me. Giants minus 220 to receive the opening kick. Now, this in any other normal circumstance would be about even, right? So is this saying if the Patriots win, they're going to defer? Is this something that they've done this year?
The Patriots many times this year have deferred the opening kick because they wanted the ball to start the second half.
They want the ball to start the second half. So if the Giants won the toss, they would for sure take it, or would they? I mean, might want the same deal. They might get their hits on Brady, but I guess with the line being that high, it's a stay away. I was just thinking take the Patriots plus 180. That's interesting if they get the kick. But
what's weird is I kind of like the Giants because I think if they win the toss, they'd get the ball, and if the Patriots win the toss, they defer it.
I guess that's what Vegas is thinking too. So
maybe it's almost like a sucker bet. You look at it and go, "Oh, this should be even odds," and you grab it. And meanwhile, they've put real research into this.
Right. All right. We'll stay away from that. First kickoff results in a touchback is minus 145. I haven't seen that in past years. I think that's a fun one to take in the dome.
What is that one again? Minus
145 at the kickoff. The opening kickoff results in a touchback.
Oh man, that seems like that's going to happen. That they have a lot of adrenaline.
Yeah.
You're in a dome. Yeah. I like that.
A lot of adrenaline can translate to some gung-ho kick return or just, taking it out when he shouldn't also. But,
right.
All right. We'll stay away from that.
You mean some guy taking it from 9 yards inside the end zone?
Yeah. Runs it to the one.
Well, I can guarantee the Patriots won't do that because the guy will have his throat slit by Belichick in the sidelines. But
yeah.
who is the Giants kick
returner back there? Yeah. I think more than before you do these prop bets, more than deciding who you think is going to win, I think you have to figure out what kind of game it's going to be. I'm sort of thinking high scoring. I think we're due for a high scoring, something way over the total. You got the Pats hurry up. Giants secondary it's been playing well lately thanks to their rush, but I think Brady figures something out there, and I think the Giants score too. That said, net yards over 809.5. I'm looking.
Whoa, 800?
Like what's that?
809.5.
809.5.
Oh my God!
I like the over.
A lot of yards.
I like the over. I'm telling you.
You like the over?
There'll be 150 in the next 2 minutes. You think that's too high? All right.
Well, let's go back to the question that you asked, which is what kind of game do you think this is?
Yeah, what do you think?
It always seems like people, when you think it's going to be one type of game, it always ends up being another type of game. But it feels to me like this could end up being like the Carolina Patriots Super Bowl a little bit, where it starts out slow. It's not a good game. The offenses just can't get going. Everybody's sitting there going, wow, this is going to be a bad Super Bowl. And then there's just a fury, and the points start coming in the second half. I could see that be how it plays out here.
That could be. How it plays out. That could be. The other thing is the Patriots have never won a Super Bowl by more than 3 points, right?
Is that true?
Then you have.
No, that is true, isn't it?
beat the Rams, the Panthers, and the Eagles all by 3.
Yeah, the Eagles won. That was really like a double-digit win.
Yeah.
They got the cheap touchdown at the end. But yeah, you're right. They've won 3 straight Super Bowls by 3 points.
Yeah. But, all right, if you don't like the over 800, 9.5, I think I like Brady over 320.5. I really do. I think he's going to be playing behind for a little bit at least. And I think he's going to have to torch that secondary a little bit.
Well, you played the Giants twice.
Yeah.
Aren't the Patriots, shouldn't they at least be trying to run on this team?
Yeah, I think so. But they've also, and that was another one I saw. What would you think without looking over under rushing yards for the Pats?
I didn't look at anything. I thought you were going to test me with some props. I intentionally avoided them. Yeah. What did you say? What was the
over
prop
under
for
rushing yards for the Pats?
89 yards.
102.5.
Whoa. That seems high.
Yeah, if they get behind, that's a loser, I think, the over.
Well, the other thing with the Pats is they don't break runs. So to get to 102 yards, that's going to take at least 20 to 22 carries.
Right.
So they're not going to have that 67-yard run or whatever. But I do think that, at least I'm hoping the game plan is control the ball at the run, keep the Giants front 4 on the field as long as you can. Try to do the no huddle. Try to put together some 12-play drives where they don't get to sub anybody and stuff like that, and then just hope they wear down. Seems like that would be the best strategy.
Yeah, I like that too. But I do think there's going to be yards and points.
I was saying that I was talking to my friend Hershey last night, who's a Giants fan. It can't be forgotten that Alex Smith had the ball at home on I'm going to say it was like the 35 or 40-yard line with like 2.5 minutes left and a chance to drive 30 yards and make the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Giants kind of dodged a bullet in that game. It was a great win. They did everything they had to do, but the Niners had a chance to just put together 2 first downs and potentially win that game. And also their kick returner really blew a couple of those plays, obviously. Yeah. Everybody was talking about how the Patriots got so lucky in that Ravens game, and I do think the Giants got a little lucky. I was watching the Inside the NFL replay of the game, and it just struck me like, holy mackerel, like that was a terrible loss by the Niners. I mean, it really
plenty of chance. I really, because Cundiff blew that field goal and there was a drop touchdown in the end zone for the Ravens. No matter what happened in the second game, it was going to be the Patriots were going to be looked at as the team that was lucky to get in, but. The Giants, and I'm going to take crap for this. I know I am on Twitter or whatever, but I think they were better than the Niners. But you could be better and still need luck to get in, right? Does it have to be such? We have to throw a parade for every single win? No, you were better and you had to get lucky. And if Alex Smith had any receivers to throw to that he was confident in or that would get open, and by the way, Tom Brady, that's all he has is guys that get open. So. I mean, at a different game there.
You look at that Patriots-Ravens game, the Pats let the Ravens hang around. They had a chance to go for the kill with 7 minutes left, and they didn't. They made a terrible play. They threw deep to Slater. Ravens got the ball back, and then they almost won the game. The Giants and Niners, to me, that was an even game. I think if those teams played in those conditions in San Francisco 10 times, I think both teams win 5. And It comes down to Kyle Williams knee touching a ball or somebody fumbling or a fumbled snap or whatever. I just was so impressed by the Niners defense in that game, and they were every bit as good as the Giants, I felt like.
They were really solid, yeah.
Giants are playing great. They got a couple breaks. They didn't kill themselves, and they prevailed.
Mm-hmm. But I try to look at it that way for this game, too. If they played 10 times in a dome, 6-4, 5-5, I'd be surprised if it was 7-3 either way, right?
Yeah, I think at the very least we can say it's one of those seasons that these last 4 or 5 teams were pretty close. I would include Green Bay too. And, the games could go a variety of ways, but for the most part they're pretty close, and it's going to hinge on a couple breaks here and there or somebody just having a mysterious bad game like Rodgers had or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
all right, let me ask
some
you
more props.
I don't want to see, I'm going to use a lot of these or some of these on my Grantland blog, but we have to discuss them. will the Patriots convert a fourth down? What do you think the yes is?
Ooh. Man, they always get fourth downs in big Patriot games. The yes, I would say, is minus 125.
It's plus 120.
Whoa.
I really like that. I really like it. I mean, they weren't even trying on fourth down. Belichick didn't let them try on fourth down against the Ravens, and they still converted one, right, from the Brady quarterback sneak into the end zone.
You know, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Gary Russell right now, because you haven't unveiled what your Super Bowl prop of the year is, but a couple years ago on this podcast, it really put you on the map. It was like the reverse of Joe Namath in Super Bowl III. You guaranteed that Gary Russell would not score a touchdown.
Right.
In the Cardinals-Steelers game, you guaranteed it. You said it was the lock of the year, lock of the century, whole thing. I think Gary Russell scored the first touchdown of the game, if I remember correctly. He scored the first one.
The first touchdown. I think he had 3 shots at it, and they snuffed him the first 2, and then he scored. Yeah, I bet that one. I bet Will Peyton Manning have a second quarter touchdown against the Saints. That was a lock, and I don't think they got inside the 40 in the second quarter against the Saints.
That was
and last year had what's his name, Kuhn, the Packers.
Oh, John Kuhn.
Yeah, John Kuhn over like 2.5 yards or something. And
he didn't get it.
Didn't touch the ball. No. Yeah.
The great thing about Gary Russell, people think that when America killed Bin Laden, that was the first great Twitter moment.
Yeah.
Where just the moment where the world galvanized around Twitter and just everyone learned the news that way. No, it was the Gary Russell touchdown.
You're nuts.
It really was. It really was. That was Twitter's first great moment. That was the first time I ever looked at my Twitter replies, and it was just a sea of Gary Russell coming at me.
What, is that guy even in the league anymore? He should be on this podcast right now.
We should have had him.
You did get an email from someone saying they were at a Super Bowl party, and Gary Russell scored, and the guy started laughing, and across the room he saw a girl start laughing about it, and they started talking like, "Oh, are you laughing because Cousin said the stupid bet?" And they're like, "Yeah," and then they went on like a few dates and everything, and he went, yeah. I'm sure that with 3 kids and divorced since then, but whatever.
They have a kid named Gary Russell.
Absolutely.
No, if they did have a kid, they should have named it Gary Russell.
Yeah,
it was great. That was nothing will ever top the Gary Russell, but let's try.
All right.
What else do you have?
Well, I do. I'm saving it because I do have one that, and I really do like it. But let's go one more Patriots thing. I think you have to pick like one wide receiver to stand out, and I'm thinking it's Wes Welker. I think he's comfortable with Brady. Brady's comfortable with him, and like we talked about, like they may have some linebackers, answering tight end problem. So I think he goes underneath to Welker a little. He's over 6.5 receptions and 78.5 yards. I think I like over in both of those.
Especially if Gronk's out. Although, all right, so let's say Gronk doesn't play that much. Do they just throw everything at Welker?
Yeah, I just think there's like a lot of comfortable underneath 4-yard routes to him. And, he had 136 against the Giants when they played in the regular season. So, I don't know. I just that's my guy for the Pats, I think.
All right. I have a random prop question for you.
Go ahead.
Is there a Deion Branch will score a touchdown prop?
I'm sure there is. Hold on. Let me see.
Because
I just asked Ocho, will he record a reception? No is minus 150, but I'll look at Branch.
What's Will Ocho put on his helmet during the game?
Can he put one on if he's not active? Like it's, what does it say? Maybe put like a bike helmet on?
On the field. I'll explain my Deion Branch thing while you're looking this up.
All right, go ahead.
Remember, he's got the Super Bowl history.
That's right.
Came through once upon a time. He's Brady's security blanket. He's somebody that has sneaky moments in big games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he scores a touchdown on Sunday.
Well, I found it, and if you think it's pretty good odds. It's plus 175.
Yeah. Those aren't any touchdown odds when it's not a main guy and you're not getting at least 2-1. It's probably a stay away, right?
Yeah, that's close. That's just about right, I guess. But if you're thinking he's going to score, it's pretty good.
How many touchdowns are going to be scored on Sunday? Like 5?
Yeah, I like a lot. I think 57.
That would be a fun bet. How many touchdowns will be scored on Sunday?
I think they have
I would
that.
say the over is like 6 for that.
Yeah, I think it's 6 or
5.5 or 6. Yeah. What do you got for Victor
the over-under
Cruz?
is 55. They're figuring they're figuring at least
It'd be 6.5.
plus field goals. Yeah.
What do you got for Victor Cruz? Because that's somebody that I think will just destroy the Patriots.
You do, huh?
Potentially, yeah.
Hold on.
He can just run around and get open. We don't have anybody to cover Victor Cruz. We don't have anyone to cover Hakeem Nicks.
Victor Cruz.
I don't know how we're going to stop those guys.
Longest reception, 25.5 yards. Over under receptions, 5.5. Will he score? Yes, plus 120.
Ooh.
That's all for Victor Cruz.
I like the plus 120.
Yeah. Oh, here's one.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, I got this. What will be higher, Tom Brady's total passing yards or number of broken capillaries in Tom Coughlin's face?
Oh.
No, you can't.
No, it is. I would say Brady because it's going to be nice and toasty in that dome.
I just wanted to see it freeze one more time.
I thought you were going to go with or number of times they show Peyton Manning grimly smiling from some luxury box pretending he's happy for Eli. Because there's no way he's happy for him at this point.
No.
Right?
I do. No, there's no way. He can't be. Yeah, number of Tom Brady shots of him doing shots, I think, would be the question. But
you have siblings. You have your sister Ivy that you've always had a little bit of a rivalry with. You wouldn't if things turned for you and you were off Jimmy's show and then Ivy was on Jimmy's show and she became like this. They're shooting bits with her and she's getting all this buzz in the internet. You're grimly smiling in the luxury box watching it.
Right. No, I'd flatten her tires twice a week. But the problem is he's facing his arch rival, right, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He just can't watch.
That's one of those things that hasn't been played up nearly enough. The fact that Brady's going to be using Manning's locker.
Yeah, right.
I just think that's the weirdest thing. I mean, there's almost no parallel to this.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, here's one. 3-2 odds that Eli's wife, Abby, leaps to her death from the luxury box after NBC shows a side-by-side photo of her and Giselle.
I thought Abby was cute.
She's not Giselle. She's fine.
That's true. Yeah.
Wes Welker versus Madonna, longer mustache? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll have like 25 of these on the Thursday blog, but...
don't forget about when you talk about people have the most to lose on Sunday. Yeah. Just make sure Giselle's on the front line of the list of people mentioned there.
What do you mean, most to lose?
The Patriots have not won a Super Bowl since Tom Brady started dating Giselle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Nobody outside of the Boston fan family knows this or thinks about it or remembers it, but everybody who's a Boston fan secretly has that one stowed away. Yeah, we won 3 with Bridget Moynihan.
That's right.
Things were fine with her.
How long were they together when they lost to the Giants?
She was there. She was there. That's when he changed his hair and all that stuff.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to some of these. You know what? There's for first touchdown. I mean, I think you just pick one from both teams, and I think I like Welker for the reasons I stated earlier. He's 8-1, and you think Manningham's going to be covered by Edelman, huh? He's 12-1.
12-1 to
first touchdown.
Yeah, that seems high, Sal.
Yeah, I know, Bill.
What is, out of curiosity, what's Jake Ballard?
Let's see. He might be 20 or something. I'll find it. He is 20-1. Wow. Look at that.
There's 2 things I can't wait for as we approach, as we near the conclusion of this podcast. One, you to reveal your Gary Russell prop for this year, and then 2, I'm sure you have at least an inside track on the team that Adam Carolla is picking for the Super Bowl, which has become America's easiest way to win money. Just go the opposite way.
Well, I told you 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago.
Tell that story.
Carolla is betting the Patriots -7.5. It was already a loser because he bet it when it first came out, -7.5. He asked me to put it in, and then it crept down to 7. So I was like, well, they're either going to win by 7 or they're going to lose. So as you know, they didn't cover. But
it's crazy what kind of powers he has, because you told me that, and it seriously made me stay away from betting on the Pats -7. It's all I needed to hear. I had no other reason other than the fact that Corolla had money on the Patriots.
Yeah. I'll find out. He hasn't told me. He latches onto these Pats, though, and he does. We go through the same conversation all the time. Like, all right, what are the Bills going to score? 10 points? The Pats are, given 17 sounds like a lot, but the Pats are going to have 30 by half. Am I right? So, and then it never happens.
Yeah, I texted him just in case there were chance that one of his assistants might answer his cell phone. But I will, at the very least, one of us will either you'll put it in your column on Thursday or I'll put it in my column on Friday. But we will have the Crow Super Bowl pick, because it really is the most important pick that anyone's going to make all week.
Yeah, it's true. Forget the
he's never won a bet, ever.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. There are some of those cross-sport propositions I know you like.
Oh, I love those. Let's do those.
Patriots against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Let me read.
Who are the Celtics playing? I forget.
Celtics are playing the Grizzlies. So you can go largest lead Celtics Grizzlies versus largest lead Giants Patriots.
Oh, I don't like that matchup for the Celtics. I actually like that Grizzlies team.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, if you think it's close.
Largest lead, yeah. What's the line again on that? Yeah, that's a stay away.
We could stay away from that. Celtics points -14.5. Gronkowski receiving yards.
Oh.
So they're figuring, I guess, about 92 to 78 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a stay away too. Is LeBron playing on Sunday? Because LeBron is like the safest bet in sports right now. He just cranks out his 30 every night.
I can't believe how much you love LeBron now.
Well, we may or may not have gone in big on LeBron's MVP chances.
We have that, and a good sign yesterday with the Clippers keeping Oklahoma City down yesterday, because I was worried about Durant stealing this MVP bet from us.
No.
There's still a lot of time to go. Well, if they run away with that division and whatever, But
don't lock into that Clippers Pacific Division wager that we may or may not have, because the Clippers are finishing the easiest part of their schedule, and it's about to get ugly.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, they played 20 games in March, Sal.
Yeah.
They played 20 games in March. I mean, it's like. And most of them are on the road. Like, it's insane what's going to happen to them. They played. All right. I think they played 6 road games so far.
Until the Lakers get their second road win, I'm not gonna be worried.
Yeah. Well,
they're money on the road.
Be worried if they get Dwight Howard, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm playing devil's advocate, reverse jinx guy.
I gotcha.
If you don't mind. Okay.
All right. LeBron James +1.5 points versus Patriots points.
Oh. And who's Miami playing?
Miami plays the Raptors.
See, that's a lock.
Really?
He's going to score 33?
And the Pats score less than 30 then? Or saying less than 35?
The over-under for the Pats line is like 26 or 27, so you're getting...
No, it's got to be high. The Giants are 26.5, so the Pats must be 30.
Oh, all right, forget it then. I still like LeBron, though.
No, they have these things figured out pretty well.
Yeah, they really do, for people like us.
They have LeBron made free throws versus Wes Welker receptions. Who knows with that?
We should talk about the Super Bowl MVP, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Now, Brady was even, and Eli Manning was +225. And now Brady's +125 and Eli's +175. A lot of giant money coming in on the money line, coming in on Eli to win MVP, all that stuff.
Oh, so it was the classic case of the Eli Super Bowl odds or MVP odds were better than the Giants money line odds, so why not just ride Eli?
And we discuss this every year we go through
Yeah.
this. And we either bet it wrong or we stay away. So
I forget, where did we land on this?
let's continue to stay away.
I'm almost positive the quarterback wins every year, but then every year we also remember that there's like 5 times in the last 10 years where the quarterback didn't win the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let me go pull up the MVPs. Who have they been?
Well,
Unless there's a big defense.
Santonio Holmes won.
Yeah.
2 years ago, right? And then who was in the Super Bowl last year? It was Green Bay. I guess Rodgers won last year.
Rodgers won. I'm pulling it up here. Hold on.
Santonio Holmes. We had who won
Breeze
the year?
Breeze won the year, right? Rodgers last year. Breeze the year before. Santonio Holmes. Eli won in 08. Peyton in 07. Hines Ward. See, if you stay away from the Steelers receivers.
Deion Branch won.
Deion Branch, Tom Brady, Dexter Jackson, Tom Brady, Ray Lewis, Kurt Warner, John Elway. So
we've had 5 in the last 11 years. Non-QBs.
5 non-quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
That's just impossible to pick, though. Who would you even think about? Yeah. First of all, you don't have a running back that's going to win it. Almost certainly.
You'd go with a Giants wide receiver. You'd go with Gronkowski.
Yeah.
If you were going to pick a non-quarterback, because, the odds of Hakeem Nicks or Victor Cruz having one of those 178-yard, 9-catch, 2-touchdown games is pretty high, I feel like.
8-1 for Gronkowski.
What are Cruz and what's Nicks?
Cruz is 10-1. Nicks is 12-1.
So conceivably, you bet all 3. And if you have
Cruz,
8-1, 10-1, and 12-1, and you put $100 on all 3, you're betting $300. You either win $800, $1,200, or $1,000, or you lose $300.
Yeah, you probably lose $300. The weird thing about receivers is, it's like, what has to happen for? I'm trying to think like why Roethlisberger didn't win and Holmes won and Ward won those years.
You need a dramatic end of the game play.
Yeah.
You need to make sure the 2 quarterbacks or the winning quarterback didn't play that well, or you need to just have a monster game.
Right.
Or all 3.
All right.
I think it makes sense. It probably a stay away, but in my opinion, it makes more sense to go the Gronkowski, Nicks, Cruz route over betting one of the QBs.
All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind. I know we're going to discuss this for hours. Oh, here's this. Madonna gets replaced by Kelly Pickler after failing the HGH test.
Yeah, she could be a failed HGH test threat. It's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Never know. Oh, look at this.
Great arms.
A bankrupt Lenny Dykstra grabs the coin before the toss, and we never get to see the kickoff. The game is never played because he's
What's that,
stealing
plus
money.
1,000?
Yeah, plus 1,000. These are stupid. I'm sorry.
I'm enjoying them.
What else do we have here?
Oh, wait, hold on. We got to quickly talk about the Matthew Broderick Ferris Bueller commercial.
Yeah.
You saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. It was oversold to me by whoever told me about it. What do you think?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Like, who cares? It's a effing commercial. Like, who cares if it bastardized a movie that came out 25 years ago?
Yeah.
That nobody, I mean, was it a bigger bastardization than John Parr doing Tim Tebow's Fire? No.
No. Is that the standard now?
Yeah, that's the standard. Tim Tebow's Fire is the gold standard.
Here's my problem with it, and I knew this was going to happen. Like, there's no valet parker in the country who's going to be as excited to take a joyride with a Honda CRV as in the commercial. So if you buy that, I guess it's fun. But
yeah, it should have been parents with 3 kids in the back, and one of the babies should have been crying.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
with that said, if Honda CRV wants to sponsor any part of the BS report, we'd be happy to have them. I love.
Oh yeah, I'm
CRV.
sorry. I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Listen, we're open to all sponsors.
Listen, I drive a Subway, so I
love Subway.
Yeah, all right, let me give you my number 1 here, and you're gonna think this is a joke.
This is it. It's the 4th annual Gary Russell Memorial Super Bowl prop bet presented by Cousin Sal and Subway.
Joke me.
Subway.
If God forbid you have a drum roll there in the background, but all right. But here it is.
Hold on. Before we do this, let's do a quick ad for Subway. Check out the Subway breakfast sandwiches. They're delicious.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
My kids eat them every once in a while. I encourage you to check them out. See? There you go. All right. Now on to Gary Russell.
Every once in a while. What a ringing endorsement.
Well, we don't go. My wife usually makes breakfast. So if we're out, we'll get the Subway. There's a Subway 4 minutes from our house. We like the Subway breakfast sandwiches.
All
right. Without further ado, the 4th annual Gary Russell Super Bowl Memorial Prop.
Here it is. Over 4.5 total yards, rushing and receiving, by Henry Hynoski, the Giants fullback. And it's going to happen.
Come on, that's not a prop.
11 out of his 18 games, he's gone over 4.5 yards, twice against my Cowboys. He was 3 for 20 against San Francisco. He's 7 out of 20 against the Giants. He's going to do it. I'm going over. I like this. I think there's going to be a lot of points. There's going to be a lot of weird plays. Henry Hynoski, over 4.5 yards.
That's pretty good.
I love it.
You know what? You might actually win this one. I think this streak's going to end.
I'm winning this one.
That's pretty good.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, I got to think of something stupid now to beat the Gary Russell and everything. And then I really just started convincing myself, and I fell in love with it. I watched video of him on YouTube when he played at Pitt. I like this guy. He's going to catch more than 4.5 yards or run. That's
Have you wagered on this pick yet?
Not yet. I want to see. I'm betting soccer games today and trying to get a little bit of a cushion.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
By the way, I really enjoyed that. How do you pronounce his name? Henry Hynoski?
Henry Hynoski.
Henry Hynoski. Okay.
Over 4.5 yards.
Last question.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas, actually, coincidentally, for your Uncle Frank's memorial service.
Yeah.
When I went to the Hilton and I signed up for the Las Vegas Super Bowl contest, and I made a Super Bowl bet on the New England Patriots at 5 to 1 odds.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. What was it? And how many? What were the odds?
5 to 1 odds.
For
not an unsubstantial amount.
This was in August. Yeah.
This was in the end of August.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Patriots are favored by 3 points to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And this has become, we've discussed this in the Grantland offices. Robert Mays, the baby bear, is just adamant that I should not hedge this bet, that nothing would be better than being at a Super Bowl and winning and cashing in a Vegas ticket of my favorite team over the team that broke our hearts 4 years ago in Indianapolis, a place where we also had our hearts broken in January 2007.
Right.
Would be a great win on all levels. Talk me out of not hedging this.
You shouldn't hedge it.
Shouldn't hedge it.
No, you can't hedge it. This is not.
Got to ride it, right?
This is not you're not sitting on 30 to 1. This is not a business decision. You're not strapped for cash. You're eating at Subway 4 times a week. You're doing fine. And no, this is you can't. You're betting against your team if you hedge at 5 to 1. It's not a.
That's what I'm thinking. I just want to make sure.
No, you're doing the right thing. So everyone that listened to this conversation, you now know the Giants will win the game. But
yeah.
No,
I'd say for the second straight year, I have a large bet on one of the 2 teams involved in the Super Bowl that's somehow going to go wrong.
Yeah. No, I think you're going to be fine. You could back out at halftime. It'll be fine.
Well, because it would make, conceivably it would make the most sense to just take the Giants +3 and try to middle it. But then if the Patriots get up 10, you're sitting there in the back of your head, just even if it's one brain cell thinking, it'd be fun if the Patriots won by 1.5 here. But it's just not.
You don't even want to think about that.
Stay away. Don't even want to think about it.
That said, I'll tell you that we love the teasers. The big teaser this week is Giants in the over, +9, over 46 or 47, I guess. 46.
Giants in the over.
Giants in the over is the one I've heard from many of my habitual loser friends.
Because it would seem like if that Patriots line drops to 2.5,
yeah,
then you would then tease the Patriots, get them +3.5 with the over.
Yeah.
Would also
this
be
way, if
kind
you
of
lose by a field goal, you're still high-fiving whoever's next to you.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride that bet. Let's see
Let
if
it go,
hopefully this I never really had a doubt. I just wanted to make sure because you're rational. You're rational about these things.
No, I know. I'm rational.
You're able to remove all rooting interest and just think, what's the smartest financial gambling decision to make?
Right, exactly. And that's why Gary Russell looms large in,
right.
in Twitter folklore.
So Nick Hinoski? What's his name? Hinoski.
Yes.
Come on, Hinoski. 5 yards, baby.
It's going to do it. Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Martin Scorsese, the great. Later in the week, John Krasinski and Korn. And Thursday, my prop blog, end of the season, I'll have a bunch of stupid ones for you, too.
Cousin Sal, Super Bowl 46 is upon us. Good luck with the Gary Russell Memorial Prop Bet. We will read your gambling blog on Thursday, and we will talk to you for the final time of the NFL season. I think it's going to have to be on Tuesday and not Monday, but sometime early next week.
I hope you're in really, really good spirits next time we speak, because I hate this freaking Giants team.
Thank you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you, Bill.
All right, last note. Check out Grantland.com this week. I've been putting up a slew of NBA columns Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week, looking at the NBA through 20 games. And more importantly, we launched the Super Bowl, which is SOUPER Bowl, which has stemmed from a 6-month argument between Dave Jacoby and I about who likes soup more, that just kind of morphed into just a series of angry arguments with the staff, and finally we just decided to put in a bracket. On the phone right now, the person who likes soup almost as much as me, Dave Jacoby. Dave, I really credit you with getting the Super Bowl going, and now that it's going, how proud do you feel?
I'm proud, but it's also nerve-wracking. You know, there's a lot of matchups. Like, it's been pretty chalk today, the Super Bowl thus far, but I'm a little concerned about some of the early round results and how they're going to pan out through the rest of this tournament, to be honest with you.
Well, yesterday we had just a remarkable race between Hot and Sour and Alphabet.
Double overtime soup matchup there.
Hot and Sour 2-seed, Alphabet a 7-seed. Controversial. There was big arguments about whether Alphabet should even have been in the bracket. Dick Vitale was upset about it. Joe Lenardi was upset.
Yeah.
Alphabet did get in and then gave Hot and Sour the run of its life. Tell us what happened.
We're investigating Alphabet for some possible sanction violations.
Yeah.
We're investigating the Alphabet program. We believe the youth vote really helped them out.
Oh yeah. So who won?
Hot and Sour was their conference champion. I mean, they were undefeated in conference last year.
Yeah.
They've got an automatic bid. I mean, they were just steamrolling into the tournament with a lot of momentum, and Alphabet gave them a good run for their money.
And who won?
Hot and Sour won in double overtime, but only by the slimmest of margins.
And it really would have been on par with Princeton nearly beating Georgetown and Alonzo Mourning that year. I couldn't believe it. I thought Hot and Sour should have been a 1-seed.
I think you might not see a lot of action on Grantland this week because we pretty much just sit around and talk about soup all day long every day. That's all we've done. I mean, there's a big controversy this morning about is miso a soup? What do you think, Bill?
Well, we had this whole argument about we decided not to include chili and gumbo into the Super Bowl. Or stews, because they're just kind of more than soups. They're more like meals. Like I think the key with a soup is that you could have a soup, but then you could also eat a sandwich. Or you can soup can either be lunch or it could be like dinner if you add it with something else. And if you have chili, you don't want to eat anything else. But
you're treading into dangerous territory here, Bill, because the same reason that stew shouldn't be allowed, there's a certain faction that's saying that miso should not be allowed because you would never have just miso for lunch.
Yeah, I kind of maybe agree. I think miso is something that gets kind of thrown into a sushi order, basically. Yeah,
it's just like a little tiny, like you get 4 ounces of it for free. I mean, if you have like a lobster miso, that's a whole different soup.
Well, I got some emails yesterday that the chicken wild rice really got overlooked, and the reason was we had a lot of chickens in there. But
there's a lot of soups watching this at home, and they're watching Borscht just not even put up a fight against clam chowder, and they're watching the game going, we could have been in that spot, and we could have performed much better than Borscht is performing right now. But Borscht won its Eastern European Conference, and they've got an automatic bid.
The biggest argument that we had was about whether Tom Yum should be involved or not, and it turned into there was racial charges and the whole racist charges, the whole thing. And But
it's hard to avoid the racial undertones of the Super Bowl.
It got really ugly with the Super Bowl there, but Tom Yum should have made it, and it did. And also there was a big argument about whether we included enough Chinese food soups.
Yeah, I mean we've got wontons represented, hot and sours represented. Egg drop didn't make the cut. You know, that's just what happens. Egg drop's watching at home, and they're looking at these soups going, please, gazpacho, cream of mushroom, and they're looking at cream of mushroom getting dominated right now, saying we could have done better than that.
Yeah, and for me that was a little bit of a wake-up call because I love cream of mushroom and cream of broccoli, and they're just neither of them really had a chance.
And what did you say about cream of mushroom while we're discussing it? I want you to tell the people.
What did I say? I forget.
You said it was a rich man soup. Cream of mushroom is a rich man soup, is what you said.
I said cream of mushroom is a rich man soup, and I said ramen is the poor man's soup.
I think
we had no argument about ramen.
Ramen's being misrepresented because we're not talking about just like packets of ramen that you eat in college. Like there's true high end. There's like entire ramen restaurants out there. I think ramen's getting a bad name. I have a question for you, Bill. What is your favorite soup here? Not to win the bracket, just in general. Someone said, "Hey, man, you get 1 cup of soup, and then you're going to be electrocuted." What are you going with?
With 1 cup of soup, and I could potentially die?
No, you're going to die afterwards. We're going to electrocute you, but we're going to allow you 1 cup of soup first.
Is it a gourmet soup or a serviceable soup?
It's whatever you want, buddy.
Is it the best possible version of that soup, or
yes, it's the absolute best possible version of that soup.
I would go with the French onion.
Really?
Yeah. I get cheese out of it. I'd be constipated after, but I wouldn't care because I was about to die anyway. Yeah, I'm about to die. What do I care?
Yeah,
nice cheese. I get to interact. It's like dripping down my face. All that. So I love the French onion.
Pause. One of the things I like about one of my problems with French onion soup, I have a big problem with French onion soup, is it's very difficult in one spoonful to get the right amount of bread, cheese, and broth. Yeah. Like you either get broth or you get bread and cheese. You know what I mean?
Well, then there's always the big dilemma about whether you use a knife to cut the cheese, which always feels like kind of a cop-out because you shouldn't have to use a knife for soup.
For soup, you should not use a knife on soup. I mean, I think that disqualifies it as a soup entirely if you have to use a knife.
I'll tell you, I had a delicious carrot ginger soup yesterday that made me wonder if maybe carrot ginger should have been invited to the Super Bowl.
It's carrot ginger. It's also like a smoothie, too, you know? I don't know. Carrot ginger just seems a little, I don't have the right word for it. It's just kind of bitch-made.
Well, I have a solution for us to figure out who likes soup more. I think you and I just need to start keeping a soup log.
I've already thought about this.
Let's just put it on paper. From starting tomorrow, just who ate more soup over the course of the next 6 months. I think I win.
I've been threatening this for a long time, and I think this is going to launch it. I'm going to start Jacoby on soup on Twitter, and just every time I eat soup every day, and I'll just a little 140 characters on my experience with the soup that day.
Jacoby on soup?
Yeah.
If that manages to get over 1,000 followers, that will be the upset of 2012.
I don't think so. I really don't think
I know
so.
I'll be following it, but I'm just saying, I really wonder if people care about soup that much. But I think in these increasingly healthy times, soup has become more and more important.
Soup's not always healthy, though. If you've ever been part of the making process of a cream-based soup, you realize that you're basically just drinking cream.
I'd like to change my answer to the best possible soup if I can.
Well, because that was a terrible answer. I mean, I let you go with it because
I went with a ceiling.
I went with not a good soup.
I went with a ceiling answer. I just love French onion. It makes me happy. I think chicken noodles probably the safest, best bet, though.
Yeah,
as long as it's real chicken.
Yeah. It cures you. It cures you. You've been having some good soups. I bet you were sick lately. I bet that carrot ginger soup really helped. Ginger's good for the throat.
I was sick. I had some chicken noodle soup that helped. I had a tomato that made me feel better. Mm-hmm. I like soup.
Can you fess up to something that you did wrong here?
Yeah, what
some of the misspellings that are represented on our website are not, I took all the blame for them, but some of them are yours.
Oh yeah, 2 of them were matzo ball. I spelled wrong.
No, I did matzo ball wrong. That was me.
Oh, I thought I did that. I spelled fa wrong. I didn't realize that it was PHO. I knew the PHO thing. I didn't realize we were talking about the same soup.
Yeah, it's different.
Oh, sorry, I'm not on my Vietnamese spellings.
I couldn't be happy about the Super Bowl, and I'm just going to apologize ahead of time for the lack of work that we're doing around here because all we do is just sit around and argue about soup.
last question. The challenge started last week. Do you have a reality podcast in the works for the Grantland Network?
Yes, I do.
And who is that going to be with?
I don't want to tease it because it's such a big get that until that person is in the chair, like I don't know if it's going to happen or not. And you never know with these people too; they could just drink themselves to death in the time between now and when we record.
But the plan is to record that today, Tuesday, January 31st.
No, it's been delayed.
Oh, so it'll be next week then.
Yeah, that's why you never know. You never know.
And you also have a very successful podcast with Jalen Rose on the Grantland Network.
Yes, I really enjoy it. We talked about the soup yesterday. Jalen Rose said he's never been dunked on.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either. So really quick, what sound did you make when you saw the Blake Griffin dunk?
I wasn't there. I was just watching on television.
So was I. But what sound did you make?
The freaking whatever virus that went around that made me give up my ticket for last night. And then, of course, that ended up being the most entertaining game the Clippers are going to play at home this season. And it was just a rollicking fest of great plays and just run and gun, everything you'd ever want from a live basketball event.
Oh, yeah.
And, including the Blake dunk, which was the best dunk of his career. And I was at home watching it on TV with my glasses on. So I made it was more of like I was just mad immediately that I wasn't there.
Yeah, see, I think that's the wrong attitude, Bill. That's the wrong attitude, man.
I'm
you need
selfish.
to look at life
I'm an only child.
You got to watch the dunk just like everybody else did. You weren't one of the 20,000 people sitting there, but it was. I was very happy I was watching that game.
The cool part about it was that, unlike the Mozgov dunk, Perkins actually shoved him backwards as he was dunking, which added a degree of difficulty that I don't think we've ever seen with a great NBA dunk before.
I'm going to say that was the greatest dunk I've ever seen.
Somebody reminded me of a dunk that I totally forgot about, that I forgot how much I loved it, both in the moment and now. It was the Baron Davis over Kirilenko dunk in 2007.
Oh, yeah. It was in the playoffs, too.
Yeah, that was so great, and the crowd reaction was so great, and it actually meant something, and it was at a big point in the game, and I need to start mentioning that whenever I talk about my favorite dunks ever. But this Blake dunk, just doing it over Perkins too, who's a homicidal maniac. I thought Perkins was just going to chase him down with a chair and hit him with it. That was great. But
and then he caught the ball in his hands after he dunked it too. It was amazing. I loved everything about it.
It does worry me a little bit, though, that Blake is going out of his way over and over again to give us the greatest YouTube highlight of all time, because eventually this is going to lead to him. I've already seen it once. He went after Joel Anthony, tried to dunk on him, and Joel Anthony just shoved him, and Blake went flying down and almost broke his hip. Like, at some point, you have to start picking your spots.
Don't be such a Negatron, Bill. You're like,
I'm not being a Negatron.
I had to watch it at home, and it's too bad he's trying so hard because he's going to hurt himself. Stop being a Negatron and just enjoy the dunk, man.
The Clippers have a chance to play in the NBA Finals. Like, you got to pick your spots at some point. That wasn't a time to pick your spot. He was trying to make a play. It was a big moment in the game. But I do worry that he's going to try to do something dumb at some point against, like, the Raptors in an 18-point game, and he'll try some crazy degree of difficulty dunk and get hurt.
It's got a bit of like an Adrian Peterson vibe. Like, it's like sometimes you need to go into fourth gear, and some guys just can't.
Right.
Like Adrian Peterson finishes every run.
Yeah, don't take on the two guys, Blake Griffin. Just run out of bounds every once in a while. And that's the part of his game that worries me a little, because as you saw last night, that team has a chance to make the finals. So keep everyone healthy. All right, Dave Jacoby, we will check you out on the Grantland Network. We will keep watching the Super Bowl on Grantland.com and Facebook.com. And I will see you in Indianapolis tomorrow.
Yeah, you will.
All right.
Later, buddy.
So I get to sign off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.